So here it is, some of the processed chicken. This is some of the chicken legs right here. I couldn't really video too much while I was doing this, but basically using a nice sharp knife, couple of serrated knife. I broke this knife, but I was getting in between there, and I just used a pair of tin snips right there to get at the joints, sometimes at the bones, like between the hard cartilage right there. So if you have ever butchered a chicken or bought a frozen chicken from the store, here's most of the remaining carcass. I'm going to try and get a little bit more meat out of this carcass, but here are some of the other carcasses that I have. Some of the skin, you can use this for the dogs. All bone. You can make some broth out of it. Get all these bones and meat, boil it and make some broth. Here is the chicken quarters. I got the wings separately. Again, here, cut the wing off. Use the tin snips to cut the main cartilage between the bone right there. I like the neck. These pieces are going to be used in a Sri Lankan curry. You can curry them and cut the breasts off, chunks of the breast. Did my best to cut them off well. That we're gonna probably like either using stir fries or use them in like a chicken tikka curry. So you can buy those curry bottles and you can use them, cut them up in little cubes and make like an Indian curry. We like to do that. And here's the rest of I'm gonna try and get some of this additional meat off here, and then use the rest for either stock, soup, or for the dogs. Give the rest to them. This is basically taking off everything that we want. I don't really want to spend so much time messing around with the rest of this, but I think the dogs will have more value for it. Alright guys, so here I am. I just did a rooster, and this rooster was really tough. So it's one of our roosters that we had born this year, and I wanted to show you the difference between a meat chicken and a rooster chicken meat. See how this is from the rooster. Meat's really dark. Let me show you here, right here. This is a leg. Really dark meat. A lot more gamey. You see how dark that meat is. Really gamey meat. Really hard to clean. The skin was tough compared to the meat chicken meat right here. Nice and soft, nice and tender, easy to clean. Big differences right here. See that difference here in color? Look at that. And this, obviously, this from a rooster, not much meat on him. This is like a Buff Orpington, I think. Not very meaty bird. I mean, he was big, but he was not very meaty. But look at that. Two different shades of meat, two different colors. Very different meat right there. Even the fat is different. In here, the fat is a lot more whitish. Can't see, there's not a lot of fat on this bird right here. But this one, the fat is like a dark yellow. You can see very different type of meat comparatively. That is why in the store you have the meat birds, and they don't use these roosters and stuff. You can see the difference in the color of the meat right there. See that? Big difference right there. Alright guys, so funny because cleaning out this meat reminds me of meat in Sri Lanka when you go to the local store. The roosters right here, this hard gamey meat, it's dark red. It reminds me of Sri Lankan meat because I don't know, until very recently I don't know if they actually had the meat birds, and I don't know if they even have Cornish Cross or even heard of Cornish Cross over there. But when you enter the store, this is what you got. Very small, lean, processed meat. And this sort of reminds me of back home when we were kids. you know, you'd have make a curry or something like that, and that's the kind of meat that you'd see. And not till I came to America did I, you know, realize that, wow, you know, there is different type of meat. There is like fatter chickens, and there is like juicy, massive breasts with, you know, chicken breasts, and you should never see in your lifetime over there, or maybe even now. I've not been back in a long time, but even maybe now you might see it. But this is so funny. But anyway, this is what I'm doing here. This is another rooster we had. We processed about 5 roosters this year. You can see very gamey, dark meat compared to what I've seen before. I've shown you before. I showed you the comparison between the meat chicken, the Cornish Cross, and the, you know, regular either Buff Orpington roosters or the regular just roosters that you have in the yard. You know, when you buy chicks from the store, um, you can buy a whole bunch, but you know, you always get a whole bunch of roosters, and you know, you wait till they grow up a little bit and you can process them. But the question is, do you really want to eat the roosters? I mean, we eat them, we curry them, and they become really soft, but they don't have a lot of meat on them. And you know, is it worth like even allowing them to grow up to be large roosters? This bird right here, I mean, for all the food that they eat, you know, that's not a lot of meat, not a lot of breast meat, you know, just a little bit of leg meat right there. Nothing on these chicken wings, you know, just a little bit of meat up there. Unless you have like, you know, Jersey Giants or something like that, you know, the rest of these roosters are pretty much just, I think the leg and the thigh right there, that's all you would use. So, you know, I gotta think about next time if you have a rooster and, you know, they came with all the chicks that we bought, like, do you really want to allow them to grow large and, you know, process them? Because really, for all the food that they eat, I mean, I have roosters, but tough skin, really hard to process. Look at that, the skin is like really hard. It's harder than the meat, the Cornish Cross meat birds. Question: do you really want to? Do you really want to? I don't know. That's the question. Do you really want to process a rooster?